Welcome to Midlife Kicker, the podcast for professionals who've left the corporate world but aren't ready to slow down. We deliver stories from midlife adventurers who are breaking boundaries, reinventing themselves, and building new careers and businesses on their own terms. Each episode delivers fresh ideas and practical advice to help you launch your own second act with confidence. Your midlife moment isn't an ending. It's your springboard to something even better. So if you're ready to kick open new doors and create your next chapter, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Today, we're tackling one of the most challenging aspects of career changes: salary negotiation. If you've been following our series, last week we talked about using technology to streamline your job search. Today, we're diving into what happens after you get that interview call. Specifically, how to negotiate compensation when you're changing careers. Career changers face unique negotiation challenges. You might be entering a new industry where you're unsure of market rates. You could be transitioning from a high-paying field to one you're passionate about but that typically pays less. Or perhaps you're moving from years of experience in one area to what feels like starting over in another. Whatever your situation, today's episode will give you the strategies and confidence to negotiate effectively. The career changer's negotiation dilemma. Let's start by acknowledging the elephant in the room. When you're changing careers, traditional negotiation advice often falls short. The standard guidance assumes you're advancing within the same field, with clear, comparable roles and industry standards. Career changers operate in a different landscape entirely. You might be wondering, how do I justify asking for a certain salary when I don't have direct experience in this field? What if they think I'm overqualifying myself? Should I take a pay cut to break into a new industry? These are valid concerns, and we're going to address each one with specific strategies. The key insight is this: career change negotiation isn't about your experience in the new field. It's about the value you bring from your unique combination of skills, perspective, and transferable expertise. Your job is to help employers see that value clearly and compensate you accordingly. Research is your foundation for success. Before you can negotiate effectively, you need data. But research for career changers goes beyond just looking up salary ranges on Glassdoor. You need to understand multiple layers of compensation information. Industry salary bands. Start with the basics. Use sites like Glassdoor, PayScale, and Salary.com to understand the general range for roles you're targeting. But don't stop there. These sites often show wide ranges that may not reflect the specific value you bring. Perform role-specific research. Look beyond job titles to understand what the role actually entails. A marketing manager at a tech startup might have vastly different responsibilities than the same title at a healthcare company. Use LinkedIn to find people in similar roles and see their backgrounds. Notice how many of them also came from different industries. Your transferable skills premium. This is where career changers can actually command higher salaries. Research shows that professionals with diverse backgrounds often bring innovation and fresh perspectives that companies value highly. Look for evidence of this in your target industry. Are there success stories of career changers? Do companies specifically recruit from other industries? Don't forget these variables: geographic location and company size. A marketing role in San Francisco will pay differently than the same role in Kansas City. A position at a 50-person startup has different compensation structures than one at a Fortune 500 company. Reframing your value proposition. Here's where career changers need to think differently. Instead of competing on industry experience, you're competing on unique value. Your value proposition should highlight three key areas. Cross-industry insights. You bring perspectives that industry veterans might miss. If you're moving from finance to marketing, you understand budget constraints and ROI in ways that traditional marketers might not. If you're transitioning from healthcare to technology, you bring user empathy and regulatory awareness that pure tech professionals may lack. Proven problem-solving skills. Success in one industry demonstrates that you can learn complex systems, navigate challenges, and deliver results. These meta skills are incredibly valuable and transferable. Frame your negotiation around your track record of mastering new environments and delivering value quickly. Mature professional judgment. If you're making a midlife career change, you're bringing seasoned decision-making abilities, relationship skills, and business acumen. You're not just learning the new role, you're bringing decades of professional wisdom to it. Timing your salary conversations. Career changers need to be especially strategic about when and how they bring up compensation. Here's a framework that works. Initial interviews. Focus entirely on fit and value. Don't bring up salary unless directly asked. If pressed for salary expectations, deflect with something like, "I'm more interested in finding the right fit where I can contribute meaningfully. I'm confident we can work out fair compensation if we're both excited about moving forward." Second round interviews. This is when you can start gathering intel. Ask questions like, "Can you help me understand the typical career progression for someone in this role?" Or, "What does success look like in the first year, and how is that typically rewarded?" Final stages. Before any offer is extended, you want to have demonstrated your value clearly. This is when you can say, "Based on our conversations, I'm very excited about this opportunity. Given my unique background and the value I can bring from day one, I'm hoping we can discuss a compensation package that reflects both the role requirements and my ability to contribute beyond the typical new hire." The compensation conversation framework. When you do get to the negotiation table, use this structured approach. Step 1. Express enthusiasm. Start with genuine excitement about the role and company. This isn't just politeness, it's strategic. You want them invested in closing the deal with you specifically. Step 2. Summarize your unique value. Briefly restate why you're the right fit, emphasizing your transferable skills and fresh perspective. For example, "I'm thrilled about this opportunity because I can bring both my analytical background from consulting and my passion for sustainable business practices to help grow your environmental initiatives." Step 3. Present your research. Share what you've learned about market rates, but frame it in context. "Based on my research and conversations with others in similar roles, it seems like positions with this scope typically range from X to Y. Given my unique background and ability to contribute immediately in areas like specific examples, I was hoping we could discuss something in the upper part of that range." Step 4. Listen and collaborate. Give them space to respond. They might have budget constraints, different priorities, or additional context about the role. Your job is to find creative solutions together. Thinking beyond base salary, the total package. Career changers should pay special attention to the complete compensation package. Sometimes companies can't move on base salary but have flexibility in other areas. Professional development budget. This is crucial for career changers. Negotiate for conference attendance, training programs, or certification funding. This not only helps you grow, but demonstrates your commitment to the new field. Flexible work arrangements. If you're taking a pay cut to change careers, negotiate for better work-life balance. Remote work options, flexible hours, or additional PTO can offset lower cash compensation. Performance-based increases. Propose a structured review timeline with clear milestones. For example, "I understand this role is budgeted at X, but I'd like to discuss a 6-month review with the potential for adjustment based on my contributions." Stock options or profit sharing. Especially relevant if you're joining a startup or growth company. This aligns your success with the company's growth and can provide significant upside. Title and scope expansion. Sometimes getting the right title or expanded responsibilities can be worth more than immediate salary increases. It sets you up for future negotiations and career growth. Handling common objections. Career changers will face specific objections during negotiations. Here's how to address the most common ones. You don't have direct industry experience. Your response? That's exactly why I'm valuable. I bring fresh perspectives and proven problem-solving abilities. In my research, I've found that companies in this industry are increasingly looking for diverse backgrounds to drive innovation. My experience in prior industry gives me insights into specific value area that could benefit your team immediately. We typically start people at the lower end of the range. Your response? I understand that's your usual practice, and I appreciate the transparency. However, I'm not a typical new hire. I bring X years of professional experience and a track record of specific achievements. I'm proposing we structure this as an experienced hire rather than an entry-level position. The budget for this role is fixed. Your response? I appreciate you being upfront about the budget constraints. Are there other components of the package we could discuss? I'm thinking about professional development opportunities, performance review timelines, or perhaps additional responsibilities that might justify a different budget category. The psychology of career change negotiations. Let's talk about the mental game for a moment. Career change negotiations can trigger imposter syndrome and self-doubt. You might think, maybe I should just be grateful for the opportunity. This mindset will undermine your negotiation before it starts. Remember, they invited you to interview because they see potential value. They're considering making you an offer because they believe you can do the job. Your career change isn't a weakness to apologize for, it's a strength to leverage. Practice your value statements out loud. Get comfortable articulating why your background is an asset, not a liability. The more confident you sound in your own value, the more confidence you'll inspire in others. Special scenarios for career changers. Taking a deliberate step back. Sometimes career changes involve accepting a lower-level position to break into a new field. Even then, you can negotiate. Focus on accelerated review timelines, expanded responsibilities, or guarantees about advancement opportunities. Consulting or contract to hire. These arrangements can work well for career changers. You get to prove your value while the company reduces their risk. Negotiate for clear conversion criteria and timelines if permanent employment is your goal. Industry downturns. If you're changing into an industry facing challenges, acknowledge this reality while emphasizing your value. You might say, I understand the current market conditions, and that's actually part of why I'm excited about this opportunity. Companies that invest in talent during challenging times often see the biggest gains when conditions improve. Red flags and walkaway scenarios. Not every opportunity is worth pursuing, even when you're changing careers. Watch for these warning signs. If a company consistently emphasizes how lucky you should feel to get the opportunity, that's a red flag. Good employers recognize mutual value. If they refuse to discuss compensation until after you've proven yourself for an extended period without clear metrics, be cautious. This can turn into indefinite exploitation. If the salary is so low that it creates financial stress, consider whether this is really the right entry point. Sometimes it's better to look for bridge roles or alternative paths into your target field. Long-term negotiation strategy. Think of your first role in a new industry as the beginning of a longer negotiation journey. Your initial compensation sets a baseline, but it shouldn't define your earning potential in the field. Negotiate for regular check-ins and formal review processes. Document your contributions and impact from day one. Build relationships within the industry so you understand advancement opportunities. Most importantly, start planning your next negotiation from the moment you accept your first offer. Practical preparation steps. Here are concrete actions to take before your next career change negotiation. Create a transferable skills inventory. List every major accomplishment from your previous career and identify how each skill applies to your target field. Practice explaining these connections clearly and concisely. Build a salary research database. Go beyond basic salary sites. Connect with people in your target roles, join industry associations, and attend networking events to gather real-world salary data. Develop multiple value narratives. Prepare different versions of your value proposition for different scenarios. Have a version focused on cost savings, another on revenue generation, and a third on risk mitigation, depending on what matters most to your target company. Practice your negotiation conversations. Role-play with trusted friends or mentors. Practice both your opening statements and responses to common objections. The more comfortable you are with these conversations, the more confident you'll appear in others. Building confidence for the conversation. Finally, let's address the confidence factor. Career change negotiations can feel intimidating because you're operating outside your area of established expertise. Here's how to build the confidence you need. Remember that negotiation is a normal part of the hiring process. Companies expect it, especially for professional-level roles. You're not being difficult or unreasonable by advocating for fair compensation. Focus on the value you're bringing, not the experience you lack. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I don't have X," reframe it as, "I bring Y" instead. Prepare for the worst-case scenario. What if they say no to everything you ask for? What if they withdraw the offer? Having a plan for these scenarios reduces anxiety and helps you negotiate from a position of strength rather than fear. Closing thoughts. Career change negotiation isn't about convincing someone to take a chance on you. It's about ensuring that when they do recognize your value, which they already have by bringing you to the negotiation table, you're compensated fairly for it. Your career change is a strategic decision that brings unique value to employers. Don't negotiate as if you're asking for a favor. Negotiate as the valuable professional you are who happens to be applying your skills in a new context. The companies that recognize and properly compensate career changers are the ones you want to work for anyway. They're the organizations that value diversity of thought, innovation, and fresh perspectives. By negotiating confidently, you're not just advocating for yourself, you're also identifying employers who will support your continued growth and success. That's a wrap on today's episode. Remember, every successful career changer before you has had to navigate these same negotiation challenges. You're not asking for something unreasonable. You're asking for recognition of the unique value you bring.
Thanks for listening to Midlife Kicker. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with someone ready for their next chapter. Make sure to subscribe for more inspiring stories and practical advice. Want to connect or share your journey? Visit us at midlifekicker.com. Remember, it's never too late to kick open a new door. See you next time.